Welcome to the first episode of Who Ya Wit with UNEX Entertainment, a new Artist of the Month series established by new digital media and indie record label company UNEX Entertainment that's meant to uplift and highlight good people, just doing good work in the kingdom and for the kingdom. Y'all, in this world, so much negativity seems to be knocking at our door constantly. It seems to be at the forefront of our minds, our phones, and TV screens. But here at UNEX Entertainment, we want to do our small part to shed a spotlight on artists who are uplifting, elevating, and cultivating the presence and future of the music industry, of Christian rap, hip hop, and R&B. And hey, y'all, let me be the first to tell you, it is lit out here. This music that they're putting out now, you can just tell that God is doing a mighty, mighty, mighty thing right before our eyes. The culture is shifting right now. Y'all better get ready, okay? After finishing this interview, I do challenge you to seek and try out one new Christian artist, just one, and it may surprise you. But without further ado, I am super excited to announce our very first guest for this Artist of the Month series, Who Ya Wit. We have Cyfë II. We think he about to blow up. He about to blow up. You wait. Okay? So, without further ado, I hope you enjoy it. All right, we got Cyfë II with us. Cyfë, how you doing today?
I'm blessed. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you so much for joining us. Look, I just want to start off by saying, look, your music has blessed me in a tremendous way since I started listening to it. Like, seriously.
That's crazy.
I saw one of your videos on Instagram, and I was swiping, and it said something like the Christian Kendrick Lamar or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, hold on. And it was the Blind Faith song. It was so dope.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and on Spotify right now, click save, and I have been following the journey ever since. So thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate to have you.
Thank you. That's crazy. Praise God for that, because that song just went crazy out of nowhere. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy.
It's so good, and it's so evident the intentionality that you put into your music and the message, and like every part of the music. Like we're gonna touch on this a little bit later, but your creative, I want to know your creative process for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad it comes across. I really try to be, but yeah. I feel like you really got to be even more like that when it comes to making music that edifies God, because even like a slip up of a certain word, you really got to be intentional.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're going to get into that a little later on these questions that I got for you. But right now I have some rapid fire questions for you, and it's a this or that. So I have two things essentially, and you can choose either this or that. And just the first thing that comes to your mind, and you ain't got no time to think about it, just the first thing that comes to your mind. All right.
All right. I've always wanted to do one of these. All right.
Okay, good. First one. Look, okay, UNEX Entertainment doing something nice. Okay. All right, Kirk Franklin or Fred Hammond?
Kirk Franklin.
CCM or gospel?
Gospel.
Basketball or football?
Basketball. You ain't even got it.
Oh, that came out real quick.
I was like, you ain't even got to say the next question. That's basketball.
All right, and I think I know the answer to this one, but label or indie?
Indie, easy.
Of course, easy. Yeah. All right, and old school collab or new school collab?
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah, I knew it.
Oh, okay. You said rapid fire. I'm gonna go with new school just off the bat.
New school. Any names on that list?
Yeah. I mean, Christian artists. I really want to work with John Keith.
Oh yeah. I love John Keith.
I love John Keith, man. He's crazy. He's a genius, and no big deal. All of Indie Tribe, really. I really love Indie Tribe.
Yes, Indie Tribe. They are doing big things right now.
Yeah. So I would say new school, sure.
Okay. Well,
I like the rapid fire.
Yeah, we'll be looking out for that collab in the near future. I'm already putting that in the atmosphere, speaking that as though it were.
Yes. Please, praying for it.
Yes. So, in 5 words, who would you say Cyfë II is?
In 5 words.
It can be a phrase. It can be just descriptive adjective. Just 5 words.
I'm a child of God.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You want
Yeah,
to elaborate on that a little more, or I think it's
yeah,
self-explanatory.
yeah. I feel like, all right. So my album is called Godchild, and I feel like you really have to tap into your inner child. I mean, Jesus says it, you have to be a child to enter the kingdom of heaven. So for me, I put like a big onus on myself to not have any pride. I have 2 kids, so I look at them and I just see how they look at the world. And I remember I'm still attached to that version of myself. I didn't forget that version of myself. So I try to stay as connected as possible to that person of myself so I can be who Jesus called me to be. Cause I feel like I'm getting deep real quick, but I feel like you don't really know what sin is until you get older and you start sinning, and then you start feeling the repercussions of your sin. And when you was a kid, I didn't understand what fear God meant because I don't think I had anything to fear when I was a kid because
Yeah.
I wasn't sinning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to say kids don't do anything wrong, but I was innocent. So when I say I'm a child of God, it's just like I'm a man of God, but I feel like above and beyond that, I want to be a child of God because he's the father and I'm just a child. You know?
I love that. I love that so much. So speaking about being a child of God, when you would you say that you didn't really discover that childlikeness until you created that relationship with God or deepened that relationship with God?
Hmm. I think I've always had it, but I think learning to humble yourself and like reading the scriptures and everything, like it really puts an emphasis on it. Like I said back with the music where you really have to be intentional. So I think it made me be more intentional. But I think I've always kept a very like good relationship with the 7-year-old version of me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like what would that person think of me?
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So I feel like I've always had that, to be
That's
honest.
awesome. That's awesome. And especially I feel like nowadays, like when you grow up, especially as adults, it's easy to lose that. And not a lot of people like have that even, you know, it's just easy to lose as adults. I commend you for that. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it sucks because I know I try to tell some people that, but some people it sucks when you don't have a great childhood. Like I had an amazing childhood. I think it is easy for people to get disconnected with that version of themselves, especially if they didn't necessarily like that version of themselves.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. But that's so great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Um,
Yeah,
so in your song "Gassed Up," you thank God that you're still alive, and mentioned that you had a noticeable shift in some of your rhymes.
yeah.
What would you say? I'm interested in knowing what that shift was. What was that? Was it a certain period in your life, and how long
Sheesh.
ago was that?
Sheesh. Um, that's cool though that you brought up Gassed Up because I like that song a lot. Funny fact about Gassed Up, that's really just a song I made for a competition to
What?
win a bunch of money from T-Pain. Like T-Pain had this competition to win $20,000, and he was like, you got to make a song about it has to have an automotive theme, and I was like, all right, bro. I was like, look, I rap about Jesus and make it cool. I can rap about cars.
Oh,
That's why everything is about cars in that song because it's just like
okay.
I'm trying to win a competition. So we're
Yeah.
gonna find out. Pray for me. I pray because it's like life changing money. So
See, that's already yours. I'm declaring
yo,
that.
praying. I'm
We
praying,
declaring
but
that. That is so awesome.
but the shift, yeah, the shift definitely happened. Like I recently came to Jesus. Like I'm not like I didn't grow up in the church.
Hmm.
I didn't even know the difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament 1 year ago today. I come from a background, elite, not like a whole background, but like I got into a lot of new age spirituality.
Mm,
And that sent me down like a depression and just like I felt lost.
mm,
And um like without going crazy into my testimony, I was in the car like at my lowest of lows, and
yeah.
like Jesus like spoke to me like through the speakers of my car, and pretty much just he told me through like a radio station that wasn't even supposed to be the radio station. It was just all of a sudden it's a voice talking to me saying like God's watching you, you'll be okay. And it was just static after that.
Oh,
And it was just and I mean I've never been depressed in my life, like ever.
yeah.
And like for whatever reason I fell into like just out of nowhere, just like boom. And it was right when I was doing all these meditations that they try to push on you and all these woke things. I was doing a lot of that. And I just fell deep into this, and that happened to me. And I was just like, wow. And I felt like I always had a connection with God. I used to pray and everything, like ever since I was a kid, even though we didn't go to church. But after that happened, I knew like I was being watched. And I woke up one day and was like, I need to know who Jesus is.
Wow.
That day.
How long was the time from when God spoke to you into the car in the car when you woke up and said, I need to learn about God. I need to know.
Got you. That was probably maybe a month or so when I was like, maybe like, I couldn't even tell you because there wasn't like a real aha moment. Like that was it. That was one of them.
Yeah.
But then, there was another moment where Jesus spoke to me in a dream, and like, I pretty much had to like face like, man, it's a long story, so I'm not going to get into it. But like, I pretty much had to go somewhere that a dream had told me not to go to, but Jesus told me to go to. And like, cause I was like convinced I was going to die if I went to this place. But I knew Jesus told me to do, so I knew I had to lay my life down, or at least what I thought was meaningful to me, whether it was going to happen or not. Like, I was scared enough but Jesus made it very evident to me this is where he wanted me to go, even though I was scared. And when I did, and I ended up being fine, and a bunch of other things that happened, that between those two moments, and I know it's very vague, but between those two moments, those are like my come to Jesus moments. But other than that, it was sort of a slow process. It was sort of just like after that depression thing happened, it was really just like, I need to know who Jesus is. And I didn't want to look in the Bible. I was like, I want to find out who Jesus really is.
Yeah.
But I was like, I gotta at least look in the Bible. I gotta see. And then that led me down to the whole, like, why should I trust the Bible? What is the Bible? What's the Old Testament? What's the New Testament? And as I got to understand the book, I started to trust it. And then God the more I gave, the more God gave back to me. And eventually it was just like, over the course of maybe 6 months, I was just like completely changed.
Wow. That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And I know that I only got like a portion of that story, so I can't even wait to hear the full thing. But that is amazing. So, and I know that you said that you were rapping beforehand. So what does that creative look like? What does the creative process look like? Like Cyfë II rapping before, he really had a deep relationship with Jesus Christ, and after, what does that look like?
To be honest, it's the sort of the same process. It's really just now, I guess, now I'm really more giving credit to where it always should have been due. Was I would always come up with these lines, and I wouldn't know how I came up with them. Like, I would just come up with them, like, and I wouldn't even notice like the entendres that would be happening, or just the bars that would just be like, oh, I didn't even mean for that. I'm not even gonna lie, but it just was like fire, and I was just like, whatever. But now I'm just like, I'm completely like, no, this is God, man. Like, I'm not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? So, and then just like, I mean, at first it was hard to bring God into my music, but now it's like really easy because it's just all a part of my life now.
Yeah, that is so amazing, man. I love your story and your answers. It's just amazing. Thank you so much again for sharing. So, how do you navigate the balance between creating what reflects Christ, but also appealing to a broader audience? Like, how important is, like, I guess a second part to that question is, what does success look like to you? Does success look like the numbers, the like recognition in terms of what it would for, let's say, for the old Cyfë II?
Right.
Does that look the same? The definition of success?
I would say no. I would say this definition of success isn't the same, because I think now the way I'm going about even just everything, it's I've taken myself out the equation. So, for example, the video that you've seen of me saying, "Oh, like I'm the Christian Kendrick Lamar."
Yeah.
like the egotistical side of me is like, I'm not trying to compare myself to Kendrick.
Yeah.
Like, I'm different than Kendrick. I'm me.
I get you.
You know, and I don't want people to sit here. But like, at the end of the day, people always tell me I sound like Kendrick. They tell me I sound like J. Cole. They tell me I sound like Logic or whoever. Like, you know what I mean? And when I have a song that I know specifically, I'm like, this part sounds like Kendrick Lamar right here.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll just lean into it because it's not about building me. It's about like if this song reaches a bunch of people, then it's gonna reach people for God. It's not gonna be like, oh, well, it's gonna reach people and they're gonna think I'm ripping off Kendrick. I don't care if y'all think I'm ripping off Kendrick. I know what I'm about. Yeah. I know my music's fire. I know whatever. Yeah. So if it's for you, then you're gonna know it's for you because I know you're gonna be looking for this type of music. So where before, I think, I don't know if I would have really, gotten the satisfaction out of being like, oh, they think I'm the next Ken. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's taking me completely out of it. And then, what was the first question again?
Now, how do you navigate the balance between creating what reflects Christ, but also appealing to that broader audience?
Right. That's a good question. To be honest, I don't really try to navigate it at all. I don't really. I mean, we're called to be set apart.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be for everybody. Yeah. This music, I know, like some of the songs that's gonna come out are gonna convict people. Yeah. Especially Christians. So it's like even for Christians, it's gonna be like people are gonna be upset with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I've already seen that a little bit. So for me, I'm not really trying. Yeah. Oh yeah. It gets wild. Wow. Yeah. But I'm not really trying to appeal to a broader audience because I feel like that's me trying. And I don't really want to try because I can hear when artists are trying. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I was listening to an artist today. I'm not going to say his name, but he's a well-known artist. And like, he just sounds like he's trying. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he's trying. And it's not that like any shade, like he's doing what he's doing and he's building the kingdom and they're doing, but like I'm not really, like if you don't think I'm top whatever, or you don't think like I'm content where I'm at.
You're not here to be
like, yeah, like, and I know I'm nice. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need validation from artists or like I've gotten enough of that. I've had the people that I love most tell me that my favorite song is terrible. You know what I'm saying? And then I've had people that I don't even know tell me songs that I hate change their life. Yeah. So it's like everyone's gonna have an opinion.
People change with the wind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, hey, I'm here to do what I'm called to do, which is make the music that I love. Yeah. And that glorifies God. And it's gonna reach who it's gonna reach. And at the end of the day, this is all God. Yeah. And everything else, all that broader audience stuff, really going back to the success thing, I just want enough to where I can get a house with my family and, do it full time and go impact people like on a one-on-one, like this right here. Like, this is cool. Like getting to know people, like this is cool. Yeah. And if I can make money doing that, then shoot, I don't need everything else. Matter of fact, I don't want everything else. Yeah. I really don't. Cause I don't want to be the number one. Cause I already see what this comes with.
I was just about to say.
There's just, yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
Yo, people are crazy. Yeah. And I don't want that attention.
Yeah,
I don't want
especially
that attention.
When you occupying that number one spot. People are absolutely crazy. And I love your philosophy around just doing what you're called to do and not and being unshakable, really, because that's what we really supposed to be. Like, you're not distracted by glitz, glam, or numbers or any of that stuff. Like, and I think that's where we're supposed to be. And it's like, it's crazy that even saying that makes you kind of like an outlier. You know what I'm saying? Like, because even in the Christian community, like it makes you an outlier to a certain extent. But that's so amazing. Thank you so much again for sharing. I got one last question before I let you go. So I'm sure that you've heard about this. Recently, rapper D1 drew what he called a line in the sand in hip hop.
Oh, yeah.
Calling out names of OGs in the game who should be doing better. What do you think this means for Christian rap? And I guess first of all, what do you think about what he said, and what do you think it means for Christian rap in the future of it?
Yo, I want to get your opinion on this too, because this is crazy. I think, man, he's doing God's work for real, because the music industry is evil. Like it's like, I mean, it's like the devil himself is in it for real. Like I knew B.O.B. pretty well when he was like number one.
Yeah.
And he would straight up come and tell us this stuff was real. Like he told us straight talk, like he was like, yo, this stuff is real. Like they really will approach you like that on some weird stuff. And so like for me, I think like we gotta call evil evil. Like it don't matter if it's entertainment, like period. Like if you talking about shooting up, I don't care who you are at this point. Like even like my most favorite rappers growing up was like J. Cole, right? Like like these some of these dudes, they'll just be talking about things that are just no good. And it's like, bro, like on music, I think if you even put it on a song, it's glorifying it. Like at a certain point, like, yeah, you're talking about things, but there's a very thin line between just being introspective and talking about like what's going on, and then talking about it on a beat, just talking about, like, to me, just if you ain't gonna offer something, a new perspective to the table, then you're glorifying it. And when we talk about fornication, drugs, selling drugs, using drugs, killing people, this is evil, period. And if that were to happen to your mom, your sister, anything, everybody's just like, oh, prayers up. Oh, like, first of all, are you even praying, period, in your life? Now you want to pray because something happened. And you know what I'm saying? Everybody want to act godly when it comes down to, something bad happening, but then they want to get back in the studio and then talk about all this stuff. It's like, so for me, I'm like, bro, he's doing God's work, because I know for a fact he's gonna have like death threats, and like he's gonna have powerful people coming after him because of this. Absolutely. And so I think that's why he's trying to unify Christian artists in general to talk about this, because it's a real thing, and we got to call out evil for evil. So for me, I think as far as coming back to Christian rap, it's just showing us that like, hey, we no longer have to be like this like little brother thing where it's like, oh yeah, like look at them do, like, no, now we know, like even the people who ain't in Christianity, they woke enough to be like, I don't want to put that energy into my whatever. They don't even believe in Jesus, but they don't want to put that energy in. Well, here, we're going to give you some real truth. And we could talk about godly principles without even mentioning God. Like this song's about love. You know what I'm saying? And like godly love, not just loving whatever you want to love, godly love. And we could really talk about real godly principles on a song you won't even know it's about. Yeah. God. And you know what I'm saying? And that's where I think we as Christian artists and creatives come into play. God's going to have people. He's going to have the artists that, like, I'm working with an artist right now. She derives all her lyrics directly from scripture. You're going to have those kind of artists that everything is scripture. Yeah. And then you're going to have the artists like me, who I could give you Jesus, and you might not even know that it's Jesus. Right. Until I say Jesus. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, bro, if he never said Jesus, I wouldn't have even known. You know what I'm saying? But now they piecing the things together. Oh, whoa, he is sort of talking about some spiritual stuff. Yeah. And I think that's where Christian rap plays a part. Was like, no, we have enough talent now to where it's like, I don't care about mainstream rap. Like y'all are, they're dead to me. Mainstream rap is dead to me. Christian rap, hip hop, R&B, coming out of the woodworks right now. It is crazy. Like scrolling down my timeline, and just I see somebody, like at least 3 new people every single day. And but it's so encouraging to me. Like it is so dope. And I think that it's time. And like D1 said, a line is being drawn in the sand. And I think that you are just choosing which side you want to be on. Everybody has to choose. And it's no longer, you can't stand in the middle anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so, and that makes people uncomfortable. And very uncomfortable and very angry. And like you said, I'm sure, he is getting a whole bunch of stuff right now, but he's covered because I know that he was assigned to do that. And exactly. It's crazy that happened at the end of the year, because I had been feeling, even the beginning part of last year,
when I had first started UNEX, I was feeling like, okay, something in the culture is about to shift. I feel it. I cut off all of my secular music at the beginning of last
There
year
you go.
when I even realized this, like discovered this world. And I was like, oh my gosh, all of this music, and it's not corny and it sounds great. And like, oh
Yo.
my gosh, it's so good. Like, wow. Okay, y'all can have that. I want this. So
Yeah.
from then to and just now just seeing like this convergence of people in our generation. Well, I don't know how old you are, but I'm assuming that we're around the same age. I'm 27, but
how old do you think I am?
I want to say 25.
Thank you. Thank
How
you. I'm
how
30.
You're 30?
Yeah.
I thought you were.
Yo, I know. I'll be looking at myself too. I'm like, people probably think I'm young, but
Yeah,
nah, I
I
just
thought you
got
got
young.
23, 25.
That goes back to the whole childlike thing that I was talking about. Like, I really think a lot of that comes from just I think people think 30 and they be like, oh, that's old. But I'd be like, hey man, if you have a childlike spirit and you hit 30, you're gonna be like, hey bro, ain't nobody gonna ever think you 30.
I know that's all right. I love that. I love that so
Yeah.
much. Well, thank you so much. Our time is about to run out, but thank you so much for being here with us today. I really appreciate you and for just sitting and chopping it up with me for a little bit and you next here on the Who You Wit podcast. So if you wouldn't mind, just go ahead and tell people where they can follow you on social media.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Cyfë II. So it's gonna be CYFE.II. And then you can follow me, same thing on TikTok. And those are pretty much the two I use, but mainly Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. DM me. I get back to all my DMs. At least I try to. Don't hit me with some crazy stuff.
Yeah, don't be all up in his inbox on some crazy.
Oh my gosh, for
I can only
real.
imagine.
People are
You
crazy.
have, hey, look, yes, for real. You have an EP out.
Yes, I do have an EP, and the album is coming. The
I
EP
was
is
about to
called
ask that
Narrow
next
Road.
question.
You said what?
That I was about to ask that next question when you hitting us with that album.
Yo, okay, so album is probably gonna be early March. That's what I'm aiming for.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got a lot of really good features on it. Really big features. So, yeah, and the album. When I say it's gonna be album of the year, like I'm not even playing. It's really like that. Like it's gonna have people coming to Jesus.